Chapter 5, Self-Determination, Living Issues in Philosophy, Titus Smith and Nolan, 10th edition, page 92. In dealing with the problem of freedom versus necessity, many people have been led to make extreme claims and draw unreasonable conclusions from portions of the evidence. Some, impressed by the evidence for determinism, have claimed that freedom in the sense of personal choice is an illusion. They have agreed with the player in As You Like It that all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. Others have been impressed by the evidence of freedom of choice and have declared that the doctrine of determinism is false. There is a third possible position, that both those who deny all freedom and power of alternative choice and those who deny determinism are taking false and extreme stands. The supporters of the third position say that it is not an either-or issue. We need not accept freedom alone or determinism alone. They see determinism and freedom as a both and issue. Self-determination links determinism and freedom and stresses the causal effectiveness of human participation in events. We are not only creatures of our environment, we are also at times critics and creators of it. This position does not defend indeterminism, which holds that some decisions may be independent of any antecedent causative factors. On the other hand, it denies the opposite extreme of hard determinism, which rejects freedom and as a logical concomitant moral responsibility. Self-determination holds that the self acts as the causal agent, is the center of creativity, and has a degree of freedom of choice. How is it possible to accept both determinism and freedom? Let us look at determinism a little more closely and then see why it is also possible to accept a degree of freedom. Determinism is a necessary scientific assumption. The scientists to work must follow the directive, behave as though every event has a cause. The idea of a dependable order of nature, an order of nature, is the guiding principle of scientific thinking. On the basis of this assumption, the sciences have made outstanding progress. Even the actions of human beings, we know it is claimed to arise out of a given set of conditions and have little meaning apart from those conditions. Case studies of the behavior of delinquents, as well as the life histories of other people, indicate that conduct may be determined by specific causative factors, like science, naturalism, maybe. Okay. This is good news, isn't it? This is good news for somebody like me who wants to write a lot. Determinism is a good thing. So, case studies of the behavior of delinquents as well as the life histories of other people indicate that conduct may be determined by specific causative factors. Determinism is said to be a presupposition of all intelligent explanations. Although determinism in some form is a necessary scientific assumption, there are many different kinds of determined events or causal relationships. In the physical realm, there are causal sequences of the collision type where there is direct contact, for example, when one billiard ball strikes another and causes it to move. There are causative factors in the organic realm. Vital processes contribute to cause the maintenance of the organism as a whole. In the realm of human behavior, there are geographical, biological, psychological, social, and cultural determinants. There is clear evidence that certain determining factors influence our behavior. For example, various aspects of human biology rhythmically rise to a peak, fall to a valley, and return to a peak at periodic intervals. Circadian rhythms occur, for example, and our sleep-wake cycle, temperature, heart rate, and the release of various hormones. Moreover, an alteration in the timing of these rhythms can lead to a disruption of the body's physical and psychological performance. In addition, recent discoveries have revealed surprising links between the chemistry of behavior and that of other body functions in humans and animals. Chemical compounds of a group called peptides have been found to perform key roles in signaling within the brain and in the control of such perceptions as thirst, pain, emotion, and perhaps even memory. In one study, a chemical extracted from the urine of mental patients immediately caused rats to fight so violently that scientists found 4 of them dead in one cage and the sole survivor licking his wounds. In another experiment, a substance extracted from patients who have the illness called anorexia nervosa produced a reluctance to eat that lasted for weeks in laboratory animals. In everyday discussion, we often refer to the effect of the weather on our moods and behavior. Scientific investigation has confirmed what heretofore was thought to be merely speculation. Day to day, atmospheric changes can affect the way we feel and behave. Other factors that researchers believe determine our behavior are genetic characteristics of brain structure and function, differences in behavior at the time of birth, for example, are to a large extent determined genetically. The main problem for the behavior geneticists is to decide the extent to which a behavioral characteristic is environmentally versus genetically determined. There appears, however, to be no question that there are some determining factors, be they chemical, genetic, meteorological, or biological, although determinism has been a scientific postulate. Present trends in the sciences appear to be against the acceptance of any completely mechanistic or physical determinism. To what extent the principle of uncertainty or indeterminacy, as set forth by Heisenberg, has played a part we cannot say, but this and other recent developments in science undoubtedly have had some influence. There are scientists who recognize determinism and causality, but insist that modern science does not banish freedom from the universe and certainly from human affairs. Speaking about opinion in physics, with regard to the question of determinism as it is presented by quantum mechanics, Percy W. Bridgman says that seldom in the history of physics has there been such a radical difference of fundamental outlook between the acknowledged leaders.